What is up, folks? This is Anthony with VR Game Rankings. It is Sunday. It is September 30th. We are now at 11:05 a.m. And I was just, of course, on the VR Roundtable podcast. That one just wrapped up. Really good episode. We probably could have gone like another 2 hours on that VR Roundtable episode because we had plenty more stuff that we could have got into. But, you know, we don't want to go ridiculously long on that. But you know what I thought I would start today's show off with is a topic that we didn't get to on the VR Roundtable episode, but I kind of wanted to get to this topic. It's a Debbie Downer topic, but sometimes we need to confront some of these things, right? And one of the things I was thinking about is Oculus Connect 5. We did have Oculus Connect 5, and so many good things came out of that. But one of the downers was, where were the Rift game announcements? Like, we really didn't get Oculus Rift game announcements. We got Lone Echo 2, but we knew we were getting something Lone Echo. And then we got the news that Defector is a 2019 game. And we saw more Stormland, but we've already known about Stormland. Was anybody else kind of surprised that we didn't get like maybe 2 more big games that we never heard of? I was kind of surprised by that. I thought that was a little bit of a you know, just wasn't that great. I mean, we didn't get to find out about the Respawn game. I thought maybe there would be a really short teaser for the Respawn game, maybe find out what the name of the Respawn game would be. Probably no gameplay, no actual gameplay, but some kind of like really bare bones teaser I think would have been good. And then just a couple of other game announcements that we really didn't get at OC5. I thought that was a little bit disappointing, but oh well, you know, not the biggest deal there. All right, guys, I have to admit that I do not have anything prepared today. Nothing, nada prepared. So this is going to be a Sunday fun day in the truest sense of the word because I don't have anything prepared. I Am Ruts is downloading Transference right now, and I'm really excited. You know, guys, I am excited because when this show is over, I am going to jump into Transference. And the reason I'm going to jump into Transference is because I'm stuck. I've been stuck in Transference. Steve finished the game 100%. And so before we started the VR Roundtable episode, I talked to Steve and I was like, Steve, I'm stuck in this spot. What do you think I should do? And I got a few minor little hints there. So I'm going to go back into it. I'm going to try to get past where I am. I want to finish Transference. I want to put that baby to bed, basically. Really loved the whole experience, and I want to wrap it up and finish Transference, especially because, goddamn, September is redonkulous. So many games of September. You know, one thing we can do on this show if we wanted to, like if we needed a topic to go into, we could talk about what about all the games that came out in September that have been swept under the rug? Man, talk about like Zone of the Enders VR. Does anybody remember Zone of the Enders VR? What a terrible month for Zone of the Enders VR 2 to come out, because I really forgot about that game, and I'm sure most of you guys have forgot about that game. Chiaro and the Elixir of Life. I'm sure, you know, that game has kind of been left in the dust, and a solid game, but man, just so much other stuff going on. Unknown Fate, a pretty good game that some of you guys could have grabbed for around $13. I don't know if anybody did, but man, that game got lost in the shuffle. We could talk about games that have been lost in the shuffle, but in chat, some of the stuff I'm looking at here is, let's see here. Oh, Lethal Weasel VR is saying, what is this on the screen? This is something that was done in Quill. Let me pump up the volume for this. Like, look at this cool ass environment. And this is exactly what I was thinking about when John Carmack was talking about using the Oculus Quest and checking out something in Quill, and that he was walking all around. He got down and was crawling under something. This is what I want to see in my Quest headset inside a high school gymnasium, where I can walk all around and check this thing out. How freaking badass would that be? With the rain coming down, some really good positional 3D audio. How freaking sweet is this? It looks like an old Sega CD game or something, but like this was the cinema, and now it's 3D, and you can walk around it and you can experience it. And Bullet Ape is saying, can you check this out in Quill? And where's MameFan when you need him? MameFan, are you out there? Because I believe it is actually possible to get this in Quill and check it out. I haven't done it. I've been lazy and I haven't actually done it, but I do believe there is some way you can actually get this up and running in Quill and walk around it. And how cool would that be? That's something I would love to experience, especially wireless. Being able to walk all around and do that would be freaking awesome. And so, Prince Alexander, what is going on? Happy Sunday. Yeah, this is Sunday, man. The NFL, there's a lot of games that are being played. Oh my God. Guys, I completely forgot to look at my fantasy football lineup, and games are underway. I might be absolutely screwed. I left Marquise Goodwin in my lineup. I don't even know if dude is playing. But yeah, so it's Sunday Funday. You can watch some NFL games. You can play some VR games. You can check out some VR live streams. You can go to some different VR websites and check some stuff out. There's so much gaming goodness to play. New releases that have come out this month. We were just raving about Vox Machina on the VR Roundtable episode, and I continue to play that game. Hey, you know what? Yesterday, somebody asked the question, Vox Machina or Karnage Chronicles? And guess what? I went into Karnage Chronicles last night. I got to find a Karnage Chronicles trailer. Hold on a second here. I'm going to see if I can find, I don't know if I have a Karnage Chronicles trailer that is already downloaded. I think, didn't I download a trailer recently for Karnage Chronicles? Let me see if I can find it for the co-op and stuff. I'll go ahead and grab that one. Hold on a second here, folks. Let's see, trying to find it. Yeah, so I got into Karnage Chronicles, and man, that game seriously is like, I can't find the damn video. Hold on a sec. I'll just do a search. Somebody go ahead and take over and start talking. This is where I need somebody else. Okay, here I found the video. Okay, open file location. Where are you? Oh, it's just in my regular freaking folder. It's in the most obvious folder ever. Okay, so let me go ahead and get that on. Karnage Chronicles. Okay, so here it is. Just wanted to have the background on here so I can talk about this. I went into Karnage Chronicles yesterday. I updated the game. It did all of its update and everything. Hadn't played, maybe have not played Karnage Chronicles in nearly a year. And what I really wanted to do is I wanted to get into the multiplayer. I wanted to just go into some random co-op game and be in Karnage Chronicles with some other dude and kind of explore these caves, the colorful caves, the water, the puddles that are on the ground, have my swords, have my bow and arrow, and explore this wonderful, awesome world that Nordic Trolls delivered to us. Karnage Chronicles. And so I went in there and I was not able to get into the co-op right away. It said that I had to go into like some tutorial thing and that you have to get to a certain point and then it will unlock the co-op. Well, I never got into the co-op, but I did start a single player game. And I just decided for whatever reason to start a single player game from scratch. And let me tell you, Nordic Trolls, oh my God, these fools have been banging away at Karnage Chronicles and polishing it up. And much love to Nordic Trolls. So many times we have a game that is released into early access. And the idea is that, okay, we're going to just put this game out in early access And we're going to be adding so much more stuff to this game. We're going to be polishing this game. We're going to be working on this game continuously over and over and over again, and we're going to continue to add to the game. And that's the promise. But so many times the promise is never fulfilled. So many times the early access game that you get is pretty much the game that you're pretty much stuck with. But Karnage Chronicles, hell no. These guys have been banging away. These guys have been working on this game. And I'm telling you, if you guys bought Karnage Chronicles a long time ago, like maybe a year ago, and you played Karnage Chronicles a year ago, this is a different game. Go ahead, fire it up today. It is Sunday Funday. If you own Karnage Chronicles, here is your assignment of the day. Fire it up and start a new game. It feels like you're in a new game. So many things have changed with Karnage Chronicles. I feel like I'm in a brand new game. The other thing that I'll say about it too is that when some of these enemies get close to me, like there's a part when you do Karnage Chronicles, there is a wolf that comes running at you. It scared the shit out of me last night. It was like I was in Transference. It was like a horror game for a second because I turned around and I was like, whoa, shit, this giant wolf came right at me. I had my bow and arrow and I was shooting my bow and arrow at this giant wolf and trying to kill it, you know, and the ultraviolet blue blood was splashing out of it. They've improved this game. They've tightened it up. They've improved it. I feel like the enemies, like when these guys come at you, when they die, they fall on the ground and their body is occupying legit space. Their body is occupying legit space and their bodies stay there. They don't disappear. At least they stay there for a while. And so in chat, we have some questions. Where was it? So Prince Alexander says, wasn't VR for... Oh, talking about No Man's Sky. Wait a minute. I Am Ruts is saying, Vox Machina or Karnage Chronicles, Anthony, you never answered that. Well, I'm going to answer it now. And look, I'm a single-player lover. I love single-player games. I love being immersed in a world that surrounds you like this. Vox Machina is so freaking good. But oh my goodness, Karnage Chronicles, going back into it last night, and I haven't even tried this co-op stuff. I mean, how freaking awesome would it be being with these other guys dancing around and talking to them? Karnage Chronicles multiplayer, I got to try that. I got to figure out how to get that going. I got to go through the tutorial or whatever, because I just ended up playing a single player game of Karnage Chronicles, starting it over from scratch and just having a wonderful time going through that game. The graphics, the audio, finding little things, taking my two swords and smashing stuff and grabbing the loot that is floating around, having my bow and arrow, shooting these guys. It was so much fun going back into Karnage Chronicles, and I didn't even try the co-op. I've seen them before. I love the voice work by this guy, too. The voice work.
Who or what causes that vortex?
Sounds like he really needs to drink a glass of water.
Makers, slay it.
Karnage Chronicles, man, I had a tremendous amount of fun in this game last night. In fact, you know what? Maybe after this show, I'll try to go straight into Karnage Chronicles. And I got to get into the co-op. I want to see some other people, talk to some other people in Karnage Chronicles. But goddamn, I had fun. A lot of fun with that. And somebody else in chat, or no, this was on VR Roundtable. I think it was Phil Yarn in the VR Roundtable show earlier today. He said, is Primordian worth $15? And hell yes, it is. That's the other game that I need to go into. last night I was like, you know what, let me check out, I need to check out Karnage Chronicles. It's gotten an update. I need to try it out. And I need to go into Primordian, because Primordian has a whole bunch of new content as well. Didn't get around to Primordian, but I did get to Karnage, and holy smokes, Karnage looks wonderful, plays wonderful. So much love there for Karnage Chronicles. Did want to mention that. But absolutely, I really want to go into Transference, though. I really, really want to go into Transference because I want to put Transference to bed. So those are two of the games I'm looking forward to. But yeah, we're seeing what are people talking about in chat. Do not really... Oh, okay, I am Ruts, Chebby. They want to know a final answer. Karnage or Vox Machina. And I'm going Karnage. I will just say it, Karnage. I'm a single-player guy. Karnage is more of a single-player design game. I would go Karnage Chronicles. And that's saying a lot for Karnage because Vox plays so damn well. Okay, Prince Alexander's asking a question. Anthony, how many hours a day do you spend in VR? And the answer to that question is not enough. I really should spend a lot more time in VR and play a lot more of these games. But I tell you what, my days are occupied with a lot of stuff. So I do, of course, our live stream that we get every single day. I'm doing this Monday through Sunday, 7 days a week. Do you know that since I returned from Hawaii, I have done a show every single day? And I plan to continue to do that. Bang out a show every single day. I want to be there like your newspaper is there. Although nobody gets a newspaper anymore. But I want to be there like the sun is up in the morning, banging this show out every day. So typically what I do is before my show, I would like to grab a bunch of different trailers and videos for some new exciting things that are going on so that I have something to talk about. That's what I would like to do before a show. Today I had no time whatsoever, so I'm just going to be throwing miscellaneous trailers up on here today. But basically grab some trailers and then I do my show. And then when the show is over with, I have to wait for the show to like do all the processing and all of that. So I'm just waiting for it to be up on YouTube in a normal form, where then I can download the show and then edit it and make a 20-minute version. But I usually go eat lunch and then I come back from lunch and I edit my little 20-minute version, but that takes a lot of time. And then I've got to render that twice and then I've got to upload that to YouTube. And then I start the process of timestamps. And oh my God, dude, timestamps, I spend a good amount of time doing timestamps for both the full-length version of this show and also for the 20-minute version. And you know what? I recommend, try this out. If you guys got a spare minute, when you're super bored, go to the shows that are already on YouTube and just click on those timestamps, just one after another. You don't have to watch the whole thing. Just click on the timestamp because I've really tried to get good at starting the timestamp perfectly right when I'm about to go on a decent rant. And so it's like the greatest hits. It's like the timestamp is all my little rants. The one thing I am kind of doing with timestamps is like I avoid the chat discussions because I think a lot of people after the fact when they're watching a previously recorded show that was live and you get into all these little inside jokes with chat, like people don't give a damn about that after the fact. In fact, they're probably turned off by that. So typically what I focus in on is kind of when I go on my little rants and I line it up like that doing the timestamps. But I do all of that, but all of this stuff takes a lot of time. Then I go over to VR game rankings, right? Let me show you guys something. Hold on a sec here. I go over to VR Game Rankings and I'll try to add like a game profile page on VR Game Rankings or maybe update some of the most wanted lists on VR Game Rankings, something like that, you know, update something. And so I'll spend a little bit of time doing that. And so when the hell am I ever going to play a VR game? All my time is used up because I still got a wife, I got kids, I got things that are going on with that. But I do try to get into some VR games. I do try to play some VR games One thing I did want to mention, I'm going to go to the web browser with small video window. And yeah, this is VR Game Rankings right here. We desperately need to dramatically update this website. But you know what? I wrote a little article about the Oculus Quest. Is the Oculus Quest the breakthrough standalone HMD the industry desperately needs? And I did a little story on the Oculus Quest. It's not a great story by any measure, but I had fun writing this little article. I had fun doing it. And so if you get an opportunity, maybe bounce over to VR Game Rankings at some point and check out this article. I talk about, you know, kind of my thoughts on how the Oculus Quest comes in to the equation, the situation with the Oculus Quest. So maybe go ahead and check that out if you get an opportunity. But that's kind of where I've been spending my time. And so how many hours, so Prince Alexander, how many hours a day do I spend in VR? Probably, man, on an average, I would say maybe two-ish. It should be a lot more. But at least I get in there and I'll spend like a half an hour, 45 minutes on this game, a half hour, 45 minutes on that game. I might fire up my Oculus Go, spend a half an hour in there. I should dedicate more time. I really wish that I could just spend hours and hours and hours playing Blind, and hours and hours and hours playing Torn, and hours and hours and hours playing Jet Island, and hours and hours and hours playing Windlands 2, and hours and hours and hours playing Creed. I mean, shit, there's just too many goddamn games, right? Bullet Ape says, timestamps are great. I wouldn't have thought you would still need the edited version, but your time, I guess. Well, the edited version, this 20-minute version, I don't know that I'm going to keep doing the 20-minute version forever, you know, if I'm going to keep doing it. I don't know. I got to see. I think there's some people that like that short version because it just gives them a 19-minute and some odd second video that they could pop on. And you mostly get the gist of what happened in the live stream, like the major news, the major rants. You kind of get that in that 19-minute version. So it's there for people. Don't know if I'm going to continue to do it, but you know, that's what it is. All right, so what can we get in today? See, I don't know anything. I have nothing prepared. I haven't checked anything. I'll tell you what we can do though. We can go to some of the websites around town and see if there's any news stories. I have a feeling that there really isn't much new, but let's go ahead and check it out anyways. Okay, so let's go ahead and check out Upload VR. This is probably the #1 VR gaming website. If you want news and stuff like that, you go to Upload VR. I'll give them love, you know, definitely. I use these guys almost every single day on this show. So much love to Upload VR. I hope they're cool with me using a lot of their content and stuff, but I think I give pub where pub is due as far as that goes. But what they're talking about here is the post Oculus Connect 5 question and answer live stream. So that's something to check out. And then they do this every week. The biggest Rift, Vive, and Windows mixed reality releases, the biggest PlayStation VR releases, Overwatch-inspired VR hero shooter Conjure Strike does have a free weekend. Has anybody gone into Conjure Strike and checked it out? This is one game, you know, again, casualties of the month of September. This is a casualty. I have not checked this out. I've got so many other games on my plate that Conjure Strike has been one of the games that has fallen through the crack. Now, here's a legitimate news story. PlayStation. Okay, Sony is not going to have a PlayStation experience in 2018. So that is kind of a downer for people, because if you're really into PlayStation VR, the PlayStation experience is a nice thing to possibly go to if you have an opportunity, because you would probably get to try about 7 or 8 PlayStation VR games that nobody has their hands on. So that would be kind of cool. And then Firewall Patch, we already knew about that. Remember, folks, Smash Hit Plunder, I believe, is coming on October 5th to PlayStation VR. This is Triangular Pixels. Now, I don't know. There is a little bit of a confusion here. It might be Europe only on October 5th for Smash Hit Plunder. Possibly Europe only. That is kind of a Debbie Downer, because if it's not coming to the USA as well, although it might come to USA as well. So let me go ahead and go back over here to our normal chat window real quick, and then I'm going to switch up to Road to VR. We could check out a little bit of Road to VR. But you know what? Before we get into Road to VR and see what they're talking about, what do you guys think about this topic? We touched it for a very brief second on the VR Roundtable episode today, and that is the Oculus Quest and PlayStation VR. Because if I'm Sony and I just watched Oculus Connect 5 and I saw all the videos, and here's a video right now of the Oculus Quest. And let me go ahead and switch up to a slightly different Oculus Quest video because I've been running that same video for a minute there. Let's see, do we have another Oculus Quest video I can go to really quick? And I know I've got a million of them, so let me find one of the other ones. Okay, here's like the main Oculus Quest commercial right here. But dude, if you're Sony and you see all this Oculus Quest stuff, you ought to be pretty goddamn nervous. Like if I'm Sony, if I'm Shuhei Yoshida, if I'm the people that are inside at Sony that really want PlayStation VR to be a major, major deal, and you see what Oculus is coming out with, the Oculus Quest, next spring, $399. Dude, $399, that is video game console. That's a video game console right there. That's like, you know, a new video game console, $399. That's kind of right in the ballpark there. And the Quest is an all-in-one unit, and I think it's treading on Sony's ground. This is a console designed for the living room. This is the product that Sony probably should have. So Sony, if I'm Sony, I am highly concerned because, I mean, they're going to have their PlayStation VR 2, which is probably going to be designed perfectly for PlayStation 5. But is Oculus saying, Sony, bro, we are going to take your lunch. We are going to take your lunch, because the Oculus Quest is kind of perfectly positioned in exactly that kind of category. So this is going to be kind of crazy. So let's see what people are talking about in chat. And Conrad Lawrence says PlayStation Blogcast referenced Dreams as a 2019 release. And I talked about it earlier. Media Molecule said, we're still trying for 2018. The last I heard, they said they're still trying for 2018, but I think they gave up the ghost. Dreams is a 2019 game. I think we just have to come to an understanding. Dreams is 2019. Give it up, Media Molecule. We know you need more months on that. Bullet Ape is, let's see. Okay, he's talking about something completely off topic from what I'm talking about here. And Greg's VR says, I love Anthony's opposite usage of the word minute. Yeah, when I say minute, it is completely the opposite of that. It's like a quick minute. It does not mean that. And then let's see. Terry Blanchard says, there will be some VR heavyweights out next year at competitive prices to Quest. So you're thinking there's going to be some other products we don't know about yet that could give Quest a run for the money? I don't know. I really feel like they are treading on potentially Sony's territory, Nintendo's territory, and Xbox territory. The Oculus Quest is like a new video game console. This is a factor. You know, this is just like what John Carmack said. They're kind of going after the Nintendo Switch. That's kind of a market that the Quest is going to. It's going to be an interesting battle over there. I think this is going to be really curious. What is Sony going to do? Are they just going to do PSVR 2, which is an accessory to the PlayStation 5? Or, wait a minute, folks, maybe Sony takes a look at this and they say, you know what, this is a serious, legitimate problem here. Maybe PSVR 2 needs to walk away from being an accessory. Maybe PlayStation VR 2 needs to go exactly at where this Quest is going, except maybe they can one-up them and go with that Snapdragon 845. Maybe they could one-up the Quest and go with the Snapdragon. But can Sony put it all together? Can they give you inside-out tracking? Can they give you wireless? Is Sony in a position to be able to go head to head with a Quest. See, that's one of the things that Oculus and Facebook, they've invested so much research and development money in this particular category. They have hired all of the best minds. I mean, they've got John Carmack and Michael Abrash under their umbrella. What two incredible people to have under your umbrella, John Carmack and Michael Abrash. That is a beautiful thing. That is an incredible thing. So, you know, Oculus is just throwing so much money out. It's not going to be easy for Sony. If Sony wants to get into this type of product, they've got their work cut out for them. And Nintendo hasn't even started down this road whatsoever. And Xbox, remember, Phil Spencer of Xbox was talking about, we think the living room needs a wireless product. And I think Xbox, in certain ways, they have to look at the Oculus Quest and be like, God damn, these guys put together a really good product that might make our lives a bit miserable in the future if we really start to head over to VR, if we start to make that road down towards VR. So let's see what some people are talking about in chat. Conrad Lawrence says, Sony is also going to have a PS5 for flat screens and VR exclusives not on the Quest. That is true. That is true. They can kind of compete from that angle. And then Greg's VR says Quest 2 will eat PSVR's 1 lunch when PS5 and PSVR 2 is out. So you're saying it's going to be that much of a delay. Some people still believe PS5 may come November of next year, but PSVR 2 would probably be spring of 2020 at the earliest, so it is going to be a delay. Now, I got to warn you guys, my stomach is growling. I'm going to need to cut this show pretty soon. I'm going to need to cut this show short pretty soon because I am starving. I ate a little bit of food right before the VR Roundtable podcast, but have not had anything, and I'm starving. And so I'm going to have to cut this a little bit short. My apologies for that. But let me see what people are talking about in chat. VR Mania Q says, I'm late for driving my Ferrari in Project Cars 2. And I've always wanted a Ferrari 458 Spider. Like if I hit the lottery, you know when someone hits the lottery and they have an interview with the guy that hits the lottery and they say, what are you going to do with all your money? And the guy is like, I don't know. I'll pay off all my bills. You know, I'll help out my family members. You know, that's what everybody always says, right? If somebody interviews me after winning the lottery, I'll say, look, I know exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to drive down to the Bay Area. There's a Ferrari dealership in the Bay Area, and I want a 458 Spider, baby. That is exactly what I want. So I know exactly what I would buy if I hit the lottery. Everybody always says, oh yeah, I'll pay off all my bills. Conrad Lawrence says, first buy a 1080 Ti, then a Ferrari. Yeah, I'll just buy whatever Alienware's like super highest end rig is. I mean, how awesome would that? That would be super awesome. Okay, so let's see. Bullet Ape says, Star VR folk must have thought about a consumer version. I'd love to know the discussions that will have happened. Well, Star VR, that headset could be possibly $5,000, and they could have a high-end consumer version of that for like $2,500, but it would have to get down there, and we are years away from that. Prince Alexander says, so is Oculus going inside-out tracking? Windows is inside-out. I wonder if HTC will eventually switch over to that. The Lighthouse concept is pretty freaking good. It's a pretty good concept. The only thing that I think needs to be improved in regards to the Lighthouse concept is how cool would it be if your lighthouses, if on the back of your lighthouses it had a little module that you could pop out, and basically this little module, you charge it up for a couple of hours and the charge lasts for like 2 weeks, and then you snap it into your lighthouse so there would be no wires whatsoever. So all you got to do is place your lighthouse in one corner aimed downwards, place the other lighthouse in another corner aimed downwards, no wires whatsoever. You have a little module that pops out of it that you have to charge up every once in a while, but it lasts maybe 2 or 3 weeks on a charge. That would be super cool. So I think HTC maybe should stay with the Lighthouse concept, but everybody else has to start going inside out. And Rift 2, should Rift 2 really have all these USB wires? You guys probably can't see it, but I've got one sensor that is right here. I've got wires running all over my ceiling that it's spaghetti. It's a spider web, a spaghetti web. Luckily, it's all black, and I painted my ceiling black because this is like my man cave, and I can get away with that. But most of you guys cannot get away with painting your ceiling black, you know, so that would be kind of cool. Yeah, USB has got to go. Sorry, Oculus. You either need to, A, go to inside-out tracking and hope it's robust as it needs to be, or B, you need to copy the Lighthouse design and just admit the fact that Valve came up with a better idea. Just swallow your pride. Can't Valve license that technology to Oculus? The only thing preventing Valve from licensing Lighthouse technology to Oculus is Oculus's pride. Let's really be honest about that. Seriously, where is Haney555 when you need him? You know, the #1 Oculus fanboy on the Oculus Rift subreddit. And I would like to ask Haney555 this question. Dude, why not? Why not license the Lighthouse technology? It's the best technology out there. Just come up with an idea where you can have a battery pack for it, and then that is the way you do it. So that's kind of my theory on that. But I am hell of starving. But you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to bounce over to Road to VR just for a second. Let's see what they're talking about over there. And they're talking about VR motion platform Phil 3 nearly quadruples their Kickstarter goal as their campaign comes to a close. So that was a very successful Kickstarter. So at a certain point in time, if you want to kick out the necessary thousands of dollars, if you want to take your Vox Machina experience to a whole new level, you might be able to grab yourself a Phil 3. And then they're talking about the haptic vest rig. We saw some of those videos yesterday. They're talking about all of the different John Carmack talks, which I covered a lot of the John Carmack. The more interesting things I think that John Carmack was talking about, we covered that on one of our episodes. So make sure to go back and check that out. Moss has been confirmed as a Quest launch game. We already kind of knew that. So that is kind of what's going on. So really no news. There really isn't any news going on. I'll go over to Arthans or Arthans. This guy usually has a lot of interesting updates. Let's go over to his website real quick. And so Rec Room update features a costume party getting ready for Halloween maybe. You know, Rec Room has a million freaking updates that I have not checked out. Rec Room is a game that I just avoid, and I have no idea why I'm avoiding it. Maybe it's all the little kids running around, but I really have not gotten into Rec Room for the longest time. I remember playing paintball way back in the day when Rec Room was brand new, and that was the most awesome thing. Those early paintball days were awesome. And Karnage Chronicles, I cannot say enough. Bros, if you can get this on a deal, or if you already own it and you have not played it in the longest time, fire it up again. I think there's a lot of little differences, a lot of little polish, and I really got to try the multiplayer. So not much really going on Arthans. So there just isn't much news, folks. It's Sunday Funday, and that's kind of the way it is. Not a lot of news here. Let's see. I'll see if there's anything. Steel Battalion controller working with Vox Machina. Are you fucking shitting me? Oh my God. I got to grab this video even while my stomach gurgles due to some extreme hunger. I am going to grab this video. Dude got a freaking Steel Battalion controller working in Vox Machina. Okay, hold on a second, folks. I got to open 4K Video Downloader, which is a very awesome app to have if you ever want to try to get videos off of the internet, especially YouTube videos. All you got to do is copy the thing for the UPS for the YouTube video, throw it into 4K Video Downloader, and bada boom, bada bing, you can get these videos. So I'm going to grab Steel Battalion controller for Vox Machina. How freaking sick is this? Oh my God, that is so cool. Does anybody remember Steel Battalion? That's kind of like what I was talking about. today on VR Roundtable, I was like, can you imagine if you were playing Vox Machina, but in addition to just playing, let's see, Steel Battalion controller for Vox Machina, here it is. Can you imagine if you were playing Vox Machina, but you were in a D-box chair, okay, and you had all the real levers? Like, what if they had the real levers, like all the controls, like it was mapped out, and it had a leap motion on the headset there, and so you're using your real physical hands, but you're grabbing actual levers and moving. You're grabbing switches, like when you turn on the key to start your mech, you actually turn the key physically. All the little details are there. How freaking badass would this be? But this is the Steel Battalion controller. Dude figured out some way to get it working with Vox Machina. That is super cool. Definitely super cool. So, oh, the Patriots are winning 24-0. Who are they playing? I don't even know who they're playing today. Let's see. T-Dub says, Phil 3 only developed for Vive with Lighthouses at present. Would love one, but crazy cash, and I would need to know the Rift development. Conrad Lawrence says, I still worry about Phil 3 as a consumer product. If those panels that make up the bowl aren't perfect, it may not function well. Yeah, I know. What if it freaking broke? See, that's the thing. You get one of those things, and if it's working perfectly, you've got your own little private VR arcade for like racing games and cockpit games and all kinds of games that would use it. But if something malfunctions, if something screwed up with that, how the hell do you get that fixed? That would really suck. So you got to hope. Oh, they're killing the Miami Dolphins. Okay, so the Patriots are killing the Miami Dolphins. Not a huge shocker there. Although I used to be super into NFL and knew everything about everything in the NFL, and I have no time for it. So today I might watch like an hour of NFL football today if I'm lucky, and that's about it. And I used to actually spend my entire Sunday from 10 a.m. Pacific until damn near 9 p.m. all day long, almost 12 hours of nonstop football. I used to be that big of a football nut, but now I really have no time for that. So unfortunately, not much into football. So folks, gotta say that I am absolutely starved. I'm super hungry. I gotta go get myself some food. So I'm gonna go ahead and bounce out of here. This has been the end of the Sunday Funday episode. Red Zone for the win. Yeah, Greg's VR, you're not lying. If you have the Red Zone channel, super beautiful. All you need is that Red Zone channel on there and you pretty much get everything. But anyway, guys, that is going to go ahead and do it for our show. Be sure to bounce over to the website. You can read my article about the Oculus Quest. Do you agree with my article, or do you think it's a bunch of garbage? Not a professional writer, but, you know, trying to do something over there. And then, of course, be sure to subscribe to our channel. Go ahead and like that video. No anger on this one. No anger at all. I'm going to be relaxed. I'm going to be calm. Just like the video. You know, just tippy tap it. Just very nice. A nice light tippy tap of the like button. That's all you need to do. And basically, I'm going to bounce out of here. But I am going to play Transference. Hell yes. I am going to play Transference, and I'm also going to play some Karnage Chronicles. Really need to get into Primordial and probably also back into Vox Machina. So I've got crazy gameplay ahead of me today if I get the time. My wife is like, no, you're not doing all of that. But anyway, guys, I will see you next time. See you on Monday, 11 a.m. Pacific time on Monday. This is, of course, a very long outro, isn't it? This outro has dragged and dragged and dragged. So those of you that left the outro early, here is some top secret news, breaking news. Oh my God, no, just kidding. Anyway, guys, I will see you next time. Take it easy. Later.